America's Wing, welcome to the retirement ceremony in honor of Senior Master Sergeant Taite Randolph. Presiding over today's ceremony is Major Jeremiah Jacobs, Medical Logistics Flight Commander, 45th Medical Group. We would like to extend a very special welcome to Lieutenant Colonel Christian J. Egan, Commander, 966th Airborne Air Patrol Squadron. Chief Master Sergeant Delano Barney, 552nd Operations Group Superintendent. Chief Master Sergeant Kenny Mott. And Mr. Brent Rogo. Finally, we would like to extend a warm welcome to all other friends, Eagles, and members of the 552nd Air Patrol Wing in attendance today. Thank you for helping us honor Senior Master Sergeant Randolph on the occasion of his retirement after 24 years of faithful service in the United States Air Force. Again, welcome to the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of the official party, the singing of the national anthem by Leo Randolph, and the invocation by Chaplain Mendenhall.
I guess I'll take the wheelchair around.
Colors. And out. Forward. Pause. Ready. Step. Colors. Hold. Breathe. Send. Arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose brush stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets had clear, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Forward. Arms. Colors. Colors turn. Arch.
Please bow with me as I pray. Mighty God, I pray today to say thanks and to ask for your blessings for Senior Master Sergeant Randolph and his family. Father, as we stand here to honor Senior Master Sergeant Randolph and his family for their faithful service over the past 24 years, God, it's really humbling to think about the countless hours of sacrifice and service that this man has given to the United States Air Force over these years. So God, I give you thanks. God, you know that from one assignment to the next, from one school to the next, combat tours, you've led Senior Master Sergeant Randolph on a quite amazing journey. So I ask your blessings on him. on him, he and his family, as they start a new journey outside the Air Force. Lord, would you bless them with wisdom and discernment as they set out to go. Also, Father, I want to ask specifically for blessings on Sherry, Kayla, Leah, and Philip. As they each experience this transition, this big transition from their lens, God, would you give them wisdom and perspective to be supportive? And I thank you for the tremendous unseen sacrifices that they've each made along the way. Lord, I just want to thank you again for the dedicated service of this man. Thank you for the commitment he's made to see our America a safer place and our Air Force as good as it can be. It's in your grace I pray. Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Major Jacobs.
Okay, this is kind of surreal for me. Never thought in a million years that I'd be standing out here doing this. Colonel, again, thank you so much for allowing me to come in your house and honor Senior Master Sergeant Randolph. You know, I had a speech written out. Tate sent me a little bit of synopsis of his career, but I didn't realize it was going to be in the program. So the first two paragraphs are actually in my speech. So I'll be standing back here. If you got any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Chief Mott, good to see you. I see you got a 281. Check me off. Don't look at those verbal pauses. Chief Arrington, how you doing? Remember this? The shield's in the house. If any of y'all didn't know that there's actually a video out there where they did the Airman's Creed, and Chief Arrington was actually in it, so that's what we give him. Really? Yeah.
Tate, I still wonder why you chose him.
Thanks. No, back in January, Tate asked me to do this. Kind of got the call out of the blue. I know that a lot of people were pushing him, but time had come and Tate called me and I didn't hesitate. That night I booked a flight and then I got to think to myself, I'm like, man, this is one of my best friends. Last two raw in uniform. I don't really want to mess this thing up. You know, I was like, that's a lot of pressure. And I fell over it when we walked in. I've known Tate since 1998 when he got to the 965th. His family, Sherry and Tate, have been family to us. And he's been a brother to me. He really has throughout my whole career. Tate was born in Jackson, Michigan, June 27th of 71. Yep. So if you don't know where Jackson, Michigan is, right there.
Where the prison's at.
I wasn't born there.
But apparently the Randolph family, they got a little tired of the winters up there, so they were back and forth to Florida. Eventually ended up in Florida. And then Tate grew up in May of '92. He met a woman, Sherry Annette Baker. Met at a carnival, right? Fair, state fair. I'm not sure what the girl to tooth ratio was, but I'm sure it was pretty nice. But nonetheless, he met
Grab the one with the best teeth.
There you go. That's what you gotta do. But he met the love of his life, and right after they met, 3 months later, Tate joined the Air Force. Kind of like a lot of us, and like me, you're sitting at home, you're 20 years old, parents say you gotta go, they kick you out, and here I am, here he is. He actually joined August 24th of 1992. And if anybody remembers that date, that's the date that Hurricane Andrew hit Florida. And that kind of plays a little bit later into the speech, because we've always wondered between all of us cadre, instructor cadre that are at Keesler, who brought the bad luck. I think I know who it was. His first tech school, he went to Lowry Air Force Base, which no longer exists. Apparently the infrastructure is still there though. I actually looked it up, and his tech school house is actually a Air and Space Museum now or something. You can look it up on Google. It's But Tate went through tech school and he qualified as a 462, which is an aircraft armament system specialist. Upon graduation, he got his first assignment. His first assignment was at Valdosta, Georgia, Moody Air Force Base. As soon as he got there, funny story, because he was still having a long distance relationship with someone. And can I tell the story? All right, so Tate actually, he was going back and forth. He was an airman. It is. He was going back and forth to Florida to see Sherry, taking long weekends. Well, apparently, as he was coming back on a Sunday night,
Monday morning.
Monday morning. That's well planned. He had to be at work at 7:30. Yeah, had to be at work at 7:30, so he's leaving Florida Monday morning. What happens 10 miles from her house? His car throws a rod, and he's stuck on the side of the highway. So what he does, he's responsible airman. He calls up his shop, says, "Hey, my car broke down. I'm going to the rental place. As soon as I open, I'll get it. I'll be there by lunch." Well, he goes to the rental car place. It's already 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what? I'm just going tomorrow morning. Well, he shows up the next morning, and when he walks into his section, they go, "Ooh, we're in trouble." And apparently, the maintenance captain at the time pulled him in and scolded him up and down. I won't use the explicitives that he used. They told me all last night. I was like, oh. But basically said that, you know, I should just kick you out right now. I don't know why, but I'm going to give you another chance. One more screw up, you're done. Kind of hit Tate and he turned things around. So after all that ordeal went down, and he actually got paperwork for that. He actually got an LOR for that. But here's the thing is, I looked at his first EPR, which covered that period, and let's see what he said. His supervisor said, actually pretty funny. "An outstanding airman who constantly strives to provide the quality required by today's Air Force." So I guess apparently it was inflated back then too. So. But you know, you look through all his EPRs and that's consistent throughout. You know, emulates what the Air Force needs. As an airman, you look at some of his stuff and it's destined, you know, one of the lines is destined to be a supervisor. This supervisor material, just all over the place. And as you look through his entire career, that's what is evident. And it started early on. So, I digress. Tate actually said, you know what? I want to bring Sherry up here, and he married her. And they got married in May of 1993. Is that right?
I think it was May 30th.
I want to fight here. They got married on May 29th, and as soon as they got married, what did Tate do 1 week later?
See you.
See ya, he goes to Saudi for 4 months. So here he is, his newlywed, his wife. He left her in Valdosta, Georgia, in a one-bedroom apartment, and not so good neighborhood. And here she is on her own for the first time, and she doesn't know what to do. She survived, as most military spouses do, and as a lot of family members do. What we do is we're gone a lot, and our family members are here to take up the load. So Sherry made it through it, made her stronger. Well, Tate got back, and you know, if he had to deploy again, he didn't want her to be alone. So what happens 9 months after he gets back? Kayla's born. So Kayla was born July 8th of 1994. And let's see, how long was it after that when you gave her a baby? Did you leave again? About a
It was the
year.
next year.
About a year. So 1 year old now. And she's on her own. And he goes to Saudi again. And leaves her by herself in Valdosta, Georgia. In a one-bedroom apartment. Which actually, this time you'll have
Now
a
we're in a
two-bedroom.
duplex, man.
Duplex. A little bit. Moving up. So while in Saudi, Tate gets some news. Hey, Air Force needs you to go to Osan for a year. And he says, you know what? No, screw that. I'm not doing that. So he applies for retraining, and he gets approved. And he goes this career field of 1 out of 3. So he actually goes to EAUC at Shepherd with a 3.6 GPA in that 2-week course with 2 tests. Which is impressive. I mean, I didn't get that high. I think I almost washed out the first block. He was approved. He went down to Keesler after EAUC. and then after Keesler, he received orders to Offutt Air Force Base and was assigned to the 7th AX to fly on EC-135 as a mission or MilStar data operator. Some of the things while he was there, here's some of that push lines I was telling you about. Demonstrates potential for supervisory leadership roles. This is as a senior airman. Airmen to emulate job knowledge and professionalism exceed the norm. And everybody that's worked with Senior Master Sergeant Randolph knows that's the truth today as well. Well, he was flying with them, and then the squadron closed in October 1998. And so many people in the squadron actually headed down to Keeper. And that's where I met Tate for the first time. She met Sergeant Sanders for the first time. And they came down and they called themselves the Offutt Mafia. Yeah. So I'm not sure how it is here now at Tinker, but when I was an airman, there was airmen galore. I mean, there was airmen falling out the windows. That's how many airmen we had in the offices. We would come in, and by 9 o'clock, get out. Everybody's get out. So the airmen thought they were running the place. Yeah. And the 5th, we had so many we could take over anytime we wanted. Well, that's until I met this guy. I walk in the office one day, and here's this grumpy senior airman. He had the grumpiest look on his face, and I was like, who the heck is this guy? But after talking with him, I got to find that there's a Gushing Center in there. I'll see that somewhere. On this grumpy exterior, there's a Gushing Center in there. But we became friends, instantly became friends, and the rest is history, really. So, we went to just see, how many deployments are we going together? Quite a few. Yeah. There was one in particular I remember at ONW. And Brian, did you bring the video feed?
No, couldn't get it loaded.
Did you think it classified? Yeah, that's cool. It's classified. Somebody decided to bring a video camera to ONW and make a little video. It wasn't anything illegal, but it's probably something that you shouldn't get out there, especially with the ranks we were at the time. We did several deployments, and then while at Tinker, they had Leah. And I actually remember that. I remember going to see you in the hospital. And that was June 24th of 2003. So Tate was with the 965th, and then he moved over to the 966. And that's where Tate really found his niche. Shaping airmen, shaping students, NCOs and airmen one at a time. And he's been doing that ever since he got to the 6th, whether it be a tech school instructor or coming back here. Even when you were at McGill, doing the same thing. Back here all the time. Remember, every person that Tate's worked with, he's like a mentor to me. And that's so rare to find nowadays in the Air Force. They actually have programs now that you can go out and search for a mentor. I don't know if y'all seen that. But I don't know if that's taken off yet. So Tate is evaluated and then goes to Keesler in August of 2005. 7 days before August 29th of 2005. And several of the folks that are in here remember August 29th, 2005. Down there at Keesler, stuck in Dolan Hall with wind blowing at 170 miles an hour and roof blowing off and water coming in. It was not fun. The worst part was, though, after the storm was over. That's when the storm really began for us. It was chaos. They wanted us to stand the school back up in 2 weeks. The whole area was devastated. But all of us pulled together and we did it. We did stand the school back up. I think a lot of that was political, but I won't get into that. So, but one of the things that actually taught me, I know it taught Tate, and I know it taught several people in this room, is that when it comes down to it, you know who your real friends are. And I guarantee you, I've made friends for life with a lot of people in this room because of that whole hurricane. And there's still a lot of hard feelings and there's still a lot of cleanup from it, but we'll move on. This is a happy occasion. So after Katrina, we all moved to Lackland, and I moved away. Tate continued, and then he got my dream job down at McGill, and he was flying for 310th Airlift Squadron, flying the C-37s. He flew with several combatant commanders, including Admiral William McCraven. I think we all know what he did. So as he's out there impressing 4 stars and combatant commanders, he wasn't only impressing them, but he was impressing the people back home. And when I say that, I mean squadron commanders, a lot of his fellow senior NCOs, and it shows in his reports. Right off the bat, boom, #1 Master Sergeant in the squadron. And then from there it was squadron strats, group strats, wing strats. I'm like, I don't know what you were doing, but I don't want to know what you were doing. So it was inevitable that Tate was going to make senior. And just looking at the record, you knew it was going to happen. Because it was strat after strat after strat, and sure enough, he called me up, dude, I made it. I'm like, well, they got a slot there for you? No. And that was supposed to be Tate's, that was supposed to be their last station, because that's where they're from, and that's where they're comfortable. I was on the other side of Florida, and we met a lot, and they came over to 4th of July, and we drank water. Almost blew thumbs off on 4th of July. It was fun, it was a blast. But then Tate ended up, and actually he was going to go to GK. That was Air Force's original plan, was to send him to GK, to Germany. And I actually made out on the deal because he sold me his boat for a ridiculous price because he didn't want to take it to Germany with him. Yeah, I'll buy it from him. I'm trying to sell it back to him because I'm leaving now, but he won't take it. Smart man. But as we all know, that didn't work out for him. Some unforeseen circumstances, GK wasn't a possibility. So the natural place, the big vacuum cleaner here, sucks him back. When he got here, he had Chief Master Sergeant Mock was here and asked Tate, hey, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? You go to the 5th? You go to the 6th? Like, I want to come out to the 6th with you guys. That's what I do. As a technical instructor, I taught a lot of airmen. I want to teach again. And I want to teach a lot of airmen out here. And he did. And this is where it brings us to today. It's hard to believe for me, especially because Chief Master Sergeant Dennis, if anybody knows who that is in the room, at his retirement, he said your career is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end of it, the faster it goes. And I'll never forget those words. And it's true though. As you get closer, you get over 20, the years start clocking by. And I never thought in a million years I'd be up here doing this for you, brother. But and I'm here, and I'm happy to do it. You know, a lot of people push Tate to get to that next rank and go out on top. But you know what? He is going out on top. He's going out on his terms. He's going out for his family. And that, in my book, is going out on top. And you got nothing to be ashamed of at all. Here we are, man. 24 years, 7 days. 4,470 flight hours. You know, most of us will think that the Air Force is losing Sergeant Randolph. Air Force isn't losing him. He'll be around for years and years to come. Not in person, but in that IQT student out there. He'll be with that tech sergeant flying on the other side of the world. He made a difference, and he made a difference worldwide. But the biggest thing is he'll be with this major down in Florida, and I'll never forget that. So, you know, I won't keep anybody any longer. I think I've gone long enough. But Tate, I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for your friendship, your mentorship, and more importantly, being a brother. I wish you, Sherry, Leah, Kayla, Philip, I wish you luck in your next chapter, and Godspeed. Thanks, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal.
Publishing order.
To all who shall see these presents greeting, this is to certify that the that the President of the United States of America, authorized by the Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, 3rd Oak Leaf Cluster, to Senior Master Sergeant Tate H. Randolph for meritorious service 12 July 2014 to 31 August 2016. Senior Master Sergeant Tate H. Randolph distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Formal Training Unit Squadron Superintendent, 966 Airborne Air Patrol Squadron, 552nd Operations Group, 552nd Air Patrol Wing, Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma. During this period, Sergeant Randolph managed the career development and progression of 173 officer and enlisted aviator instructor cadre and 13 Air Force specialties, resulting in the graduation of 900 aircrew students to 4 combat E-3 squadrons. Additionally, as the squadron's enlisted hiring authority, he recruited 47 personnel to support the Wing's program flight training mission, guaranteeing the sustainment of 9 enlisted instructor crew positions. Furthermore, Sergeant Randolph led 2 squadron enlisted force distribution panels, managing the collection and review of personnel data for 40 members, ensuring only the most deserving airmen receive promotion endorsements by the commander. Finally, as the Wing's communication systems operator functional manager, he directed manning for 86 aircrew, ensuring personnel availability to support 4 operational E-3 squadrons and worldwide deployment taskings. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Randolph culminate in a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States.
Publish the retirement order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force, Washington, D.C., Special Order Number Alpha Charlie 001534. To Senior Master Sergeant Tate H. Randolph, Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma, effective the 31st day of August 2016. You are relieved from active duty. 966th Airborne Air Patrol Squadron, Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma, and retired from the United States Air Force, effective 1 September 2016, after 24 years of faithful and honorable service, per Air Force Instruction 36-3203, in the grade of Senior Master Sergeant, by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Major Jacobs will now present a certificate of appreciation for President Barack Obama. For service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America, I extend to you my personal thanks and appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job extremely well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, President Barack Obama. We would now like to invite Mrs. Randolph to come forward and join us for the Air Force Retirement Pin presentation. This pin is to be worn with pride. It signifies to all that Senior Master Sergeant Randolph has served his country well and honorably. As a small token for her many years of dedication and commitment, Mrs. Randolph has received a letter of appreciation from Colonel Gatica, 552nd Air Control Wing Commander. Mrs. Randolph, on the occasion of Tate's retirement, please accept my sincere gratitude for your outstanding support to the 552nd Air Control Wing and the United States Air Force. Everyone who has devoted their lives to military service knows the tremendous sacrifices you and your family have made. Tate's impressive performance would not have been possible without your support. On behalf of the men and women of the 552nd Air Patrol Wing, thank you for your selfless dedication. I wish you and Tate the happiness and success that you both so richly deserve. Sincerely, Colonel David M. Gatica. Kayla and Leo, would you please join your parents on stage? Colonel Gatica also extends his appreciation for Kayla and Leah's lifetime support and dedication to their father's many years of service. Lieutenant Colonel Egan will now come forward to present a gift to Senior Master Sergeant Randolph.
Sorry, I kept going fire. All right, so before I do that, first of all, you are always welcome in this house, really. It's the classiest act I've ever seen, and it's really special that he's done this for you, so you're always welcome in this house. If you haven't been to a retirement ceremony or seen one before, you guys are getting to display one of the best ones that I've ever seen, so thank you for doing it right. And oh, by the way, there's no way I'd have made it past her anthem, so I'd have been crying like a baby. Good job. All right, so you can hand that to me. So I'm a pretty lucky guy. I had the opportunity to work with Senior Master Sergeant Tate Randolph when I was the DO. He rolled into the DOE shop and started teaching me some things that I didn't know about how to be a DO and an FTU. And then I left and I had the chance to come back and be the commander. And there was nothing more awesome than showing up. And you were peeling out there, Chief Mott. You were heading out and you're like, hey, I've set you up. I'm moving Sergeant Randolph into the chief office. And I remember the conversation, you know, hey, we don't think we're going to be able to get you a chief. I was like, I don't need a chief. I need somebody who cares about airmen and who cares about growing the next generation of AWACS. And you were the perfect fit, the absolute perfect fit. And we were laughing long before I came into the seat because I think a lot of people knew that I was coming back and some people didn't know I was coming back. So, but it was awesome to fall back in on an amazing team. And you know, you talked about going out on top, right? So top 1% is chief. I'm telling you that you don't need to be a chief to be in the top 1%. That's the grade structure, that's the rank structure. You've heard me talk to all the Eagles in this squadron. We are special. We're the only T-coded squadron in the United States Air Force designated to train the next generation of US AWACS air crew members. And to be the top dog, the number one, the senior ranking enlisted person in that organization, dude, man, it doesn't get any better than that. And you were here when you were a younger one, and so you had an expectation, and you far exceeded the expectation that anybody could have had for you. So, chief, no chief doesn't matter to me. And you were mine. You were my chief as far as I'm concerned. So, nobody leaves Tinker without an end of the trail. So you get an end of the trail, my friend. Senior Master Sergeant Tate Randolph, 24 August 1992 to 31 August 2016. While the trail has ended, your journey continues. Thanks for watching over the nest and our flyers. Once an eagle, always an eagle. That off your hand. And I'm not letting you leave without giving you one of my clients. Thanks so much for all you guys. Appreciate you. Awesome.
Chief Master Sergeant Mott will now come forward and present the Career Enlisted Aviator Certificate.
I feel pretty privileged to be up here with you to represent the Career Field Functional Manager, Chief King, on your retirement. Here's a career enlisted aviator certification. You heard the hours that he's accumulated, over 4,000 hours. Those hours, we'll get a picture of this in a second. Those hours are, they're pale in comparison to the airmen that he led and trained in combat and in training to be able to accomplish those same hours. So at the end of this, when you walk out of here, that's just a starting point for what you leave behind. Right. So I've been with Sergeant Randolph for quite a while, 965th. I was the guy right next to the major over there that said, "Who is that guy and why won't he keep opinions to himself?" I'll tell you what happened later on was I went to Keesler by myself, and then they showed up later. And still, here was this grumpy old guy giving his opinion about everything. But at the time, I wasn't smart enough or a leader enough to understand what his opinions were focused on. And later on, when I left him and I didn't have all those opinions to support me, I realized that all of those were always focused on airmen and the mission. And so when I had the opportunity to hire him back, I took it in a second. I was told to hire the dream team, and that's what I did. All right, thanks.
Senior Master Sergeant Summers will now come forward to present a gift on behalf of the 966th Senior Non-Commissioned Officer Corps.
We all know it wouldn't be a retirement without something to put on the wall. So we have to have a shadow box. All right. You can't put everything from your career in the shadow box. We know this because we went through all of your items. You brought in a box of name patches. You brought in name patches, coins, rank insignia, everything else. They're trinkets. They're part of your memory bank. You took a lot of that home, but here's how they fit in your shadow box in here. Enough for you to remember from the beginning to the end. You've got your basic aircrew wings, your chief wings, name tag. The leather name tag from Airman Basic Randolph, long before he was a flyer. For those who've been in the room long enough to remember the BDUs with the leather name patch. Okay? That was Airman Basic Randolph.
Fatigues.
So,
Like Kevin Marshall.
oh, ouch. So on behalf of all the senior NCOs in the squad, thank you for everything you've done for us here in the squad. I'm going to take a moment here and break from the script a little bit to give Cass a break over here. But, no, you get to stand up here still. In your water bottle? Okay. I've had a request to bring somebody else up on the stage to present something, but this person doesn't really want to talk. They just want to make a presentation. So, Kayla, if you could come forward.
Good till now.
Kayla had the idea to create a gift for her father for everything that he's done for the family. So she put this together, Tate, for you. Would you like me to read it for the audience? Sure. So here's, Tate's going to break down trying to read this. What we have is a large photo frame. It says 1 airman, 24 years of service, 4,470 flying hours, 87,774 days of bravery. 1 loving wife, 23 years of marriage. Now I'm breaking. Thank you. 2 daughters, 7 duty stations, 4 deployments, 1 Air Force family for life. Okay, now we've got a little sappy stuff out of the way. I'll tell a story from a few months ago.
Those are bottles of beer.
This is not bottles of beer. This is not liquor. But we had a conversation a few months ago. I tried to egg you on to get an answer, and I never got an answer from you. So the question I asked was, as a comm person on AWACS, what piece of equipment from the aircraft signifies, hey, I was a comm guy? And the first answer I got, the only answer I got from him repetitively, you can't take anything off the airplane.
I better not say.
I'm like, no, seriously, is there like a radio control head? What box out there signifies comm? You can't. So what did I tell you I was going to get you if you didn't give me an answer?
The stupid gear thing.
Okay, so just tell somebody you can't. Tell somebody you can't. And Tate, here's your food. Pull it out, show everybody.
Yeah, integrate this into a doorbell or something. It might make my car better.
It is. Can you program a Now with the gag gift over, that box is not from an airplane. All right? So don't go trying to find out what aircraft I took it over. That box is from the ACTs and COTs down the line. Okay? I have a plaque here with two other pieces from there. I have an ADS panel and an ARC 164 control head. All right. Before you left Lackland, a lot of people talk about the flying hours and everything else. Along with the flying hours, I looked this up for the records that STARS still maintains from everything. 3,375 instructional hours logged in STARS. That's between AATC 966 originally in 2002 and again in 2015. Along with that, over 3,100 of those hours were AATC. I figure it's easy to say on average about 6 students per class. So while you're teaching that 1 hour, you got 6 students in there. You add that all together and figure out how many CCF credits were awarded to students because of your actions and your teaching. I figure that's well over 1,124 credit hours awarded to students through your instruction. But that wasn't enough, you see? He picked up this 320-page requirements document on our ACTs and COTs down there at Lackland. Some of you students that went through remember touching animals like these. He went through to start modifying that requirements document, and now that equipment down there is now a flat glass panel touch screen that increases the upgrade rate, reduces the cost, increases the throughput for the students, everything else. That project started 7 years ago and just completed within about 8 months ago. But these pieces are now no longer used in training because they've improved the training because of Sergeant Randolph's efforts. So the flags engraved Senior Master Sergeant Taite Randolph. Master the skills, teach the job, improve the future. Thank you for your tireless actions to improve the 183 curriculum. Thank you, buddy.
Master Sergeant Baumgartner will now come forward to present a gift on behalf of Chief Light.
We have some systems here from Strickland.
We'll have a whole airplane in a minute.
I'm going to give you a story about this one, which half the story he knows, but the other half he doesn't. I was a retrain, came through maintenance, and went down to the schoolhouse, and had an opportunity to meet, at the time, Tech Sergeant Randolph. And it's funny that you were talking about him being a grumpy senior airman because he had the same, just the 2 corners of his lips, kind of grumped down like a bulldog that's always grumpy. And that's the face I see as a tech school instructor. And had a unique opportunity to be in a really formal type of situation because I shot my mouth off in the middle of the bathroom. Somebody was taking the Browns to the bowl, overheard it, and about 40 minutes later comes in and grabs me, and I'm standing in front of a Chief Master Sergeant receiving an LOR.
give you an idea, that was the only piece of paperwork I've ever received in my career. And thankfully, this is the guy that was behind it. The worst part is, I'd like to say it was just me, but Sergeant Strickland here's got the same story in his behalf too. So apparently there's a commonality between.
Does anybody else get paperwork from me?
I think it's a commonality with Chief Light, but half of the story that he doesn't realize is soon after that he put on Master Sergeant. And at the time I was part of the 5th Mob, which if any of you guys are familiar with the 5th Mob out of Robbins, Georgia, or the 3rd Herd, it was not a fun maintenance job. And I really was excited to be an aviator. I wanted to be an airborne radar tech. They didn't start my security clearance, which they're supposed to from your home station. And because of that, that's usually an automatic, sorry, go back to your home station, get your paperwork right, and then come back and see us. At the time, Master Sergeant Randolph went above and beyond, pulled me aside, looked at my academic records, and gave me an opportunity to prove him right about his decision because he had seen something in me that he felt needed to go farther. Left the schoolhouse, dealt with some really serious life stuff, and ended up here at Tinker. And had the opportunity to come work at the Eagles and actually work with him again. And I knew what he knew of me was loudmouth staff sergeant. Sadly, I was a loudmouth tech sergeant too, but I wasn't really sure how to go about it. And I was nervous about meeting him again because he had impacted my career as an aviator. He impacted everything that I had known. And I had a lot of respect for him that he had no idea. He probably didn't even know my first name, to be honest with you, because he's seen so many students. And ironically, the first thing he says is, "You're the guy I stood in front of the chief when I was taking a dump because you shut your mouth off." And this has been like 9 years for this to happen, and he apparently remembered that, so apparently it was life-changing for him too. That being said, though, I got the opportunity to work with him, and I actually went through and I was really having an issue finding a mentor. I was really having an issue finding someone to take me to the next level because honestly, there just wasn't any. Coming from maintenance, the few that I reached out to got in trouble. You know, it just wasn't working out very well. I actually went formally and asked you to be my mentor, and then also came to you at the pro level and explained how you had impacted me. And he said the one thing: care about your people. Always care about your people. Always put your people first. And obviously, that is a life lesson considering you guys have been married 23 years. You don't do that by putting yourself first. You do that by putting each other first. And that is a blessing and absolutely amazing. And also on top of that, making senior master sergeant, deciding it's time to finally go and be with my family. You know, that's the type of man I want to be in the United States Air Force. That's the type of individual I want to grow to become. And he has done nothing but continue to push me in that direction. I got the luxury of having him tack me on when I put on master. G-Flight has so many of these stories, which we're the loud flight. Anyone that's air crew, if it's D-Flight or G-Flight, we're the ones with the ping pong table, we're the misfits, we're the ones that are loud, obnoxious, and tell you exactly what we're thinking, wrong or right. And that's just, our whole flight is made up of those type of people. This individual's seen something in me as a leader to put me in the flight. He's seen something in that flight to go far beyond. And because of that, we want to say thank you today and share some people.
So every time we hang out on sports, you always talk about, man, we'll get New Jersey. We'll get New Jersey. So we got at number 24, Randolph, for the years you've been in.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Tinker Air Force Base Honor Guard will now perform a flag-folding ceremony. than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence. And blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the Stars and Stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong landed on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe, and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our United States Air Force, nor the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. Senior Master Sergeant Randolph, on behalf of the men and women of the 552nd Operations Group in the United States Air Force, we present this flag in recognition of your 24 years of faithful and dedicated service with the United States Air Force. Thank you, Tinker Honor Guard, for performing that patriotic ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor to introduce to you my friend and mentor, Senior Master Sergeant Taite H. Randolph, United States Air Force, retired.
So, you notice there's no flowers up here. I don't like flowers because they die. Unless you do fake flowers. Like. But, so I have a couple things for my wife and my daughters. Yes, I can teach you something. Let's say thank you. This is just a trinket, a reminder, whatever it is you want to call it. This isn't enough to repay for everything going to but yeah. So this bracelet. I just didn't reach in and pick out any beads like a typical guy. Oh, this came in so the pink bead that's on here is for her birthday, April. The red, white, blue heart. I think we all know what that one means. I think this one says mother, but I don't have my glasses on, so I can't. The red one is for July, for Kelly's birthday. This one is for June. How much you love your dolls. Look on. And then the last one is promise. So, probably not typical girl gifts, but there'll be something that they can look up on the wall and with their dad, who probably caused them probably more pain than they deserve. But this one has my first patch in when I was at the 7th accident. It's got my wings that I was given when I went through tech school. So, since she was my firstborn, look at that with her. And then this is the last patch that I ever wore, which is probably this is the best patch I ever wore. My chest hands down. So, like she said, when I talked to him back in July 14, he asked me, he's like, where do you want to go? I was like, well, what do you want Ryan to do? I was like, we're at the 3rd right now. He goes, the 3rd could use a chief because, Chief will want to get ready to step out. Let the folks I said, where are you guys going? Well, we're going to the 66. And I'm like, well, I'll put the game team together, and that's where I want to go. So that is the last patch, last rank, and that one's for the guy that made my bills a lot cheaper by taking my daughter away from me. I never was able to have a son, but I got 2 amazing daughters, and now I have an amazing son-in-law, son, whatever.